Israel Adesanya finally defeats Alex Pereira. And in this video, I'm going to be talking about the fight, I'm going to be talking about the knockout at the end, I'm going to be talking about the antics at the end of the fight as well, and do I think should they fight again or not. So stick around and wait till the end if you want to hear my opinion on that. So, with the fight, I thought Israel started off, he was looking really good, he was moving about good, he weren't letting Pereira push him back up against the cage, because in the first fight I felt like, obviously I know that's where he beat him, but that's when Pereira was having his most luck. Having said that, in the first round of the first fight, that's when Izzy almost caught him and knocked him out. So, back to the second fight anyway. So I felt like Izzy was doing a lot better moving around. He kept changing stances, which means he won't be, Pereira couldn't land a leg kick as much. So I thought that was extremely nice, extremely good bit of tactic. I assume that's why he kept switching stances, so he weren't getting caught with that leg kick. And if so, obviously that was a good start, a good way of doing it, a good way of showing different angles. Now, with Pereira, I felt like he didn't really do much wrong. He was fighting his type of fight other than when Izzy was being more aggressive. When Izzy was being more aggressive, he was finding it harder to back Izzy up against the cage. And a few times when he did back up Izzy against the cage, Izzy was being able to move about a bit more. With the knockout, Izzy was up against the cage. He was obviously ended up being in this sort of position. And previous to that, Pereira threw a leg kick, and I think he threw a body shot as well, if I can remember correctly. I think it was a jab to the body, and that's what finally pushed Izzy up against the cage. And then this when Izzy started covering up, doing almost the sort of rope-a-dope style of covering up against the cage. Now, I actually thought Pereira was going to finish the fight then. I actually thought like that was it, he was going to finish the fight. He threw a couple more shots, he threw a big knee, come up this way, and it was so close to landing hard. I think if Izzy was that little bit more shorter, then he would have, and that would have come straight through and he would have got the knockout. Now the reason, obviously, the old boxer Muhammad Ali made rope-a-dope famous was standing up against the ropes of the boxing ring and was just being able to move about and block punches, making his opponent tire out, leaving him with openings to land the strikes. Now with MMA, that is so much more dangerous. The gloves are so much more smaller, so everything seems to get through better. Now, has he done the right thing? Instead of holding up like that, he did have the right thing by having his hands up. But again, the gloves are smaller. Not just that, they could do low kicks, kicking the leg. They can shoot him for a takedown. You can land elbows, and elbows are so much more devastating. Even if you take an elbow on a glove on the side of the head, a big full elbow is still going to be devastating. So you can't stay in that position that long. Now, Izzy didn't stay in that position that long, thankfully. He managed to, obviously to move open up and come across with that right hand. Now, Izzy also said that he did do it on purpose to play possum. Now, I don't disagree with that because the way he reacted after, I don't think he was that hurt. I didn't see a strike that actually hurt him to cause him to come up to cover up the way he did. So if he was playing possum, obviously it worked perfectly. And the reason why he done that, or the reason why I think he would, is because he was in a fight seemed to be a lot further out this time, and he didn't seem to be able to get in close enough to really land with decent power to Pereira, because Pereira was quite tall, he's long, he has that nice long guard, and he seems to be able to block things. So, because of that, he had to get him to open up a bit more. Now, as he come against the cage, obviously once you get against the cage, you can't go back no further, but it's almost like he can't come in any closer unless he comes in for you to clinch. He needs to be at striking range, which also meant Izzy was at a nice striking range as well to also hit him. And obviously, as he's opened up to land strikes, he's not thinking of getting hit. So as he's throwing the strikes, that's when Izzy come over the top. He threw one right hand, then threw another right hand. Looked like he went to throw the left, but by then he'd already gone down. And then, as you know, he landed a few ground and pound. Was the ground and pound necessary? To a certain extent, yes, because you are told in a rules meeting you have to carry on striking until the ref stops it. It's down to the ref, it's not down to you. Imagine if you would have hit him again, he fell to the floor, come to, and the ref's like, carry on, and then as he goes down, it's too late. Pereira manages to recover just ever so slightly and tangle him up. I don't think he would have done. I think he was well and truly out, but before he even landed the hammer fists. But the point is, you can't exactly argue with him or get the ump with him about landing the hammer fists. So, that's on my opinion, obviously. Now, the other bit of the fight at the end was him pulling the bow and arrows, pulling 3. I imagine that's for the 3 losses he took. Now, what do I think about that? When someone knocked out on the floor, me personally, I wouldn't do antics like that, but it is quite cool to watch. I do understand why people do it. Obviously, when he lost in kickboxing, I think Pereira shouted in his face, and there was another moment as well. Now, this is a bit I don't agree on. Apparently, Pereira's kid, when he was younger, fell over next to Izzy, as if to say, oh, I've been knocked out. He was only young at the time. A few more years have gone past now. He's a bit older, but apparently he sees his kid in the thing, pointed at him, and then laid on the floor as if he'd been knocked out. Now, that I really didn't like. I really didn't agree with. Now, I suppose you could say, well, you agreed with that, but you didn't agree with the other thing. The other thing was it was more to his kid and that, and I don't think you should be getting... There's a line, and I think that's stepping over the line, in my personal opinion. Even if his kid done it to him, whatever, do you know what I mean? It don't matter, like, that's stepping over the line. Definitely 100% in my opinion. I wouldn't do that, but then again, I wouldn't do the showing off thing. And I think the reason why I'd never show off, especially if you knock someone out bad, lucky enough, touch wood, it hasn't happened in the UFC yet. But people do die in this sport. Do you know what I mean? It's a dangerous sport. He could have had brain damage, he could have been, like, anything can happen. You're so used to seeing people get knocked out and they're okay, but every now and again, sometimes they're not okay. So, and how bad would have Izzy felt? He even said afterwards in the back, apparently they did shake hands, they squashed the beef. There was no hard feelings done. Izzy says he respects him as a fighter, as a champion, and I think that's really cool that at least he done that. So, anyway, that's just my opinion on all that. Now, my opinion on should they fight again? I think Pereira does have a case. At the end of the day, he's beating him. Alright, fair enough, it was in kickboxing as well, but it's only, if this was just like a normal MMA fight, it's 1 for 1. So why do they not have the third fight? And again, then even a bigger case, Pereira's already beaten him twice in kickboxing, so why shouldn't he have the third fight? If he does, then I wouldn't like to see it right now. I think I'd like to see Pereira fight a few more times. But same with if Izzy would have lost. Would he have got the rematch straight away? Again, I wouldn't have liked to have fought so. I'd like to have thought they had fought some other people. And that. I don't always like rematches when they're straight away, even though I must admit I was looking forward to this one. I don't always like it when they do too many rematches. So would I like to see the rubber match for MMA? Yes, but maybe in the future it is a possibility. Like if Pereira went away and won a couple and put himself right up in fight contention to go for the title again, then yeah, I understand there's no reason why they shouldn't let him fight for the title again. But I've heard that he might be moving up in weight. Anyway, let us know what you think. Should they fight him again? Did you like the antics at the end of the fight? Let us know what you think in the comments, and I'll see you all soon.